All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope that my screen is clear to you.
It's clear.
Um,
Yep.
yes. So there is an emoji uh, con somewhere there. So please do use that. It's actually useful to notify me if you guys not see my screen or cannot hear my voice. Okay. All right. Very well. Okay. So very good morning to everyone. So my name is Sylvester from Faculty of Food Science and Nutrition, FSMP, Faculty Science Makanan dan Pemakanan. Okay, so today I would like to share to all of you perhaps my experience actually about online learning. So we actually have no choice, right? Technically, because this is the only way, this is the only platform that we have at the moment to reach our student. And then comes toward that, this is gonna be our new normal, and then normalization of the online teaching and learning, starting from last year. Right? So a brief of today's session. So please bear in mind that I will be sharing my thoughts and also my experience. Okay, so I will also share about more towards student perspective about online learning because they are our client and our perspective. So I would share to you all about um, what do they want actually for online learning. So today's I will be focusing on a brief introduction, the challenges that I'm facing personally throughout the pandemic, and then how do I um, go through it. Okay, so far so good. So, Dr. Kenneth, please reminds me about the time because sometimes I get carried away.
Yeah, surely I will do that. Your
Sometimes I
lecture
get
as
carried
well.
away. So, like, yeah, please remind me. Okay, so maybe half an hour is good. Anyway, so this guy over here need no introduction anymore. Okay, since last year, this guy hit the world and became a global pandemic, even famous than Ronaldo. Okay, so if we scroll daily to our social media, it will become the top of the list. Okay, in Twitter, trending, Instagram, and everywhere, and headlines in major countries as well. That have greatly impact our education system. Okay, so to those that um, just welcome to our session today. So today is the fourth session seminars of the SOARING challenges in UMS. Okay, so yeah, so coronavirus. So how does it impact our teaching? Um, I recently joined UMS actually in 2019, end of 2019 actually. Um, yeah, and I just start my first semester in teaching early 2020, and then you know what? The pandemic hit, and then we undergo a total lockdown in March last year. So from that moment, last year, 2020, I personally haven't undergo any of online learning or online training before. So I don't have any idea what kind of platform, what kind of things that I should do in order to teach students and also to provide them with learning experience at that time of point. Because um, WebEx is a stranger, Google Meet is still a stranger to me at the time. Zoom, okay, so at the time I have to educate myself to learn and how to use various platforms that I think I can use and user friendly to me, suppose. So how does it impact from face to face to online teaching and learning? Then we have this young inspiration lady, right? Our very own student self. So I think that she also doesn't need a recognition or introduction, sorry. Viviana Mosibin, so siapa ingat dia? So perhaps she's the one who break through that anything is possible. Okay, so at that point of time, she had devices to do an online learning. However, the only problem that she have is the connectivity. She have to climb the hill back up to her home and then have to climb a tree just to get a good reception to do her examination. So this is a true example and really, really an inspiration to me as an educator. We see that students also work hard and then they also never give up on their study. So with that, this is a clear example of what would I say, really lucky in that sense. So 2000 versus 2021. So far, let me know, everyone, if the presentation is not clear on you guys, if it is not visible, okay? Let me know in the chat, right? So 2000 versus 2021. I believe that most of colleagues here have experience using Nokia 3310, right? Siapa pernah guna? So thumbs up using the emoticon who have used it or perhaps still keep it, okay? The legendary phone, okay? Thumbs up, right? Baling anjing pun tidak masih. Right? Okay, so okay, I just want to create a scenario here back in 2000. Okay, so if we can flashback at the time, masa itu mungkin 20 tahun masih muda kan. Okay, so still young and energetic at the times, so I'll be honest. And then this phone is quite cheap at the time. Okay, can we imagine that if this pandemic hit us back in 2000, how are we going to do with our online learning, right? Okay, so Nokia 3310. Okay, kalau tidak kita main itu apa saja tuh? What is the famous game that Nokia have at that time? The snake thing, right? Yang ular-ular tuh, sama-sama ular. That's the only thing that it have at that time, the application. So the only function is to message. Yes, ular makan apple. So the only function is to message and call, and just a few function of game, right? So there is not much function. It can't even receive internet at that time. So how are we supposed to do online learning at the time? So fast forward to 2021, right? So 2021, we are so fortunate. Okay, so this is Samsung. Samsung S21, I think, right? Super expensive. Okay, the dream phone. But anyway, so we are so fortunate in this era that we have all the devices, all the connection, not only devices daripada small phone like this, up until tablet and our laptop as well has been improved in order for us to use it much more efficiently. Plus, it can receive really good connection. Okay, so this is one of the factors that make us so fortunate that we are in this era. So we have all the devices, smart devices that we can use and we can utilize to do online learning and teaching. Now, so this is actually the challenges of the new normal that I face. Okay, this is what I think that challenges to me this time point, okay, in online teaching. Number one is the readiness of educator. To me, as an academic, as a researcher, I believe that I rely more on technology nowadays, the use of application, the use of software, the use of apps in terms not only to look for information, but also in communicating. So how am I supposed to be ready as an educator, right? Because we face a lot of challenges, no doubt. Each and every one of us is very unique in a way in our teaching skills and also in the way that we teach other people, especially our client, our students. So I believe that we have our own set of way to be ready as an educator. But today I will just share what the things that I implement to myself. And then number two is the availability of smart devices. Although we are now in 2021, no longer in the 2000 era, but we also face these challenges. I face these challenges where some of my students doesn't have a proper devices. They do have the device, but sometimes doesn't really function well, especially when receiving connection. They can't open certain files, um, can't download certain files. So that's kind of a bit challenging as well. Not to me as an educator, but more towards student. Okay. And then the connectivity. This is the thing that we are facing not only in Sabah, in UMS, but nationwide. The connectivity of internet. But since last year, okay, since our teaching and learning became fully online, some of the agencies took really good effort at initiative and tried to provide connectivity to us and reachable. Okay, not only in Bandar, but in town, but also in rural areas as well. The fourth one, challenges. I think this is most of everyone agree, is student engagement. Like now, we are mainly talking um, with the medium of online learning. We are talking directly, like now, I'm talking directly to my laptop. I can't see the audience really well because the only thing that I see now is my presentation, right? So it's kind of hard to me in the sense that I want to see the reaction of students, whether they understand or not, whether they um, really fully participate in the session, or whether they want to ask a question but they're really shy to click the unmute button and then speak up, or sometimes they don't have the encouragement to do so. So this is, I think, the most challenges to me as an educator. And then the last one is um, lab assessment versus continuous assessment. To me, doing lab online, because I conducted one class that have lab, or two classes actually, or no, three classes actually that should have lab. However, due to restriction movement control order, and then we actually initially from hybrid, and now no more hybrid anymore. So how does we conduct our online lab, in the sense that we're just showing student uh, how do we do things, how we do a set of skills, something like that, right? So this is kind of like a challenging. Please also, everyone, if you do have any comments, I think Dr. Kenneth has provided one of the link. There is like comments of Q&A from the telco. So please feel free to use that link to chip in information or comments or any suggestion, because we use this platform to share and learn from the others as well. Okay, cool. Now, my way to overcome the challenges. So the readiness of etiquette. I believe that everyone by now is familiar with all this application, I would say. Um, sorry. Okay, so Google Meet, WebEx, and also Microsoft Teams. So this is the most common online platform that we use, that I use in UMS to reach out to my students. Sometimes I use Google Meet, sometimes I use WebEx, and hardly I use Microsoft Teams. Okay, because I'm much more familiar and I'm much more comfortable with these two, Google Meet and also WebEx, because it's easy to conduct and I think it is very user friendly. But I think other colleagues may have other different platform like AirMeet or um, perhaps using Telegram. I haven't used Telegram for my online teaching and learning, but I've seen a lot of people using that, and that's really great platform too. Google Meet, compared to when it first introduced, like last year, I was first introduced to Google Meet, right? So I'll be honest, I also, what do they say? The terms noob, right? Because this is something strange to me, like using Google Meet and also WebEx, something really strange. Okay, I have to start to learn. Fortunately, UMS did a really, really tremendous good work, okay, providing us with a user-friendly manual, okay, how to use Google Meet, how to use WebEx, how to use Microsoft Teams. And I think I don't need to explain more of this platform because all of you are familiar and perhaps even better in using this kind of platform. Okay, group chat, I use WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is very easy, it's free, and it's easy to reach out to a massive group of people at one short time. So I just send a message to all students telling that, okay, this class is going to be today, and all the assignments information shares in the group chat. So to this, I make myself accessible to students so they can WhatsApp me at any point of the day, not at midnight, of course, right? So I wouldn't entertain, but sometimes I do entertain WhatsApp from students at any time because I personally know that maybe they just want to do their assignment at 10 o'clock and then they don't understand the instruction really clear. And at the time they are really motivated to do so, baru jam 10 malam, barulah di sana motivated, right? That's okay, that's fine. I will entertain that as well. So that's me. I'm not sure about the others because at the point of time, students also have free time. They have their own liberty to their time on the way that when they want to do their work, right? Whether it is in the morning or in the midnight, okay, or pagi. So I try my best to make myself accessible to students. And also I use this kind of apps, Canva. So is anyone here using Canva? Boleh thumbs up, right? Canva. Saya pernah dengar Canva. Who have heard about Canva? I think this is a really, really powerful tool. Not only powerful, but pretty, I think, because it is very easy because they come with apps. So this Canva can go, you guys, if want to use Canva, can just download it from Play Store, okay? I'm not sure about iPhone, what kind of store. So Apple Store, perhaps Canva. So Google that, download it, and you will find that this is really super, super easy to use. I use this to create a really quick 1-minute poster and also announcement to my student. Like example, like this one. So I didn't, sorry, I use this to create a full poster like that. So WebEx class and F30203, like that. So I use this as the announcement every time to remind students about classes. So I don't have to type things in the chat. So I found that this is really interesting too. Okay, so perhaps this is one of the things that I really suggest and highly recommended to use Canva. Not only for to make a poster announcement, but also to make social media poster. So they have a few varieties of template, and it's free. Some of it free, and some of it not. Of it's not, of course. There's even the free template is good as well. So yeah, I highly recommend you guys to try this one. So to make things more to make your announcement more interesting to your students, okay, just put that in Canva. 1 minute to create that. Okay. So is everyone good so far? Right. So I'm not sure if the participant are allowed to ask a question during the session. Are they allowed to, Dr. Kenneth?
Yeah, Doctor, we allow the participant to ask the question. Some of them are posting in the chat window as well.
Okay.
I think are you having, do you want to stop for question and answer now, or you want to proceed? It's up to you.
I want to proceed up until we overcome the challenges. Is that okay?
Okay, please.
Okay.
Please proceed.
Okay, now my way to overcome the challenges, availability of smart devices. Okay, of course. So to me, this is some sort of the obligations of student themselves to provide their own devices. At least they have the smartphone. But we do also need to realize that not all students are really fortunate to have this kind of liberty, having a really smart device, okay, let alone the latest one, right? Some of the students, of course, they have like the latest iPhone, the latest Samsung, okay, that I don't even have that thing, or some of us don't even have that smart devices. But as long as it serves its purpose, that they can enter the class and that it can receive connection, Wi-Fi, I think that is sufficient enough for student. All right. So some of the students do also face challenges. So this is one of the case that we encountered in the faculty. One of my colleague student her laptop was broke down just before her mid semester, and during at that time UMS were under PKPD, right? Last time PKPD mula-mula 2 minggu, and it extended until 1 month, 4 weeks. Okay, so during that time, this student doesn't she have her phone. Okay, so she can enter class, no problem. But the problem is she can't do her assignment and can't undergo mid-semester examination because, as we all know, we have to answer the exam online, and then with that, we need to use at least a laptop to do so. So it's kind of really challenging to her, and then she reached out to the faculty and asked help, and we managed to find a laptop for her to use at that time, and then we delivered to her. So this is a way that I think that each of the school, institution, or faculty in MS should take into consideration of our client, our students. Okay, if they have problem, of course we can say that, oh, they can learn from the other friend to use, but there's a time when the student also want to be focused to do their work, and then the student have to wait up until midnight to borrow their friends, and I think it is not really conducive enough for both of the students to do so. But we try our best in FSMP to accommodate students in whatever way that we can. We ask help from other colleagues who have their extra laptop that can be used, and we managed to find one, so it is really good. Okay, so I encourage maybe colleagues from other faculty to look into this problem, because I do believe that there is some issues and some problem that students have faced with the smart devices that they can't access, or it's broke down suddenly, right? So we have to help them. Okay, now Another challenge is the connectivity. Of course, not only student, but to me as the lecturer as well. Sometimes bila conduct online session, class, tiba-tiba tuh mati karan, right? Right? Whoever, my colleague that live in UA, most of them like in UA. So whenever karan mati or sometimes electricity problem, yeah, the connectivity came with it. So this is like the whole problem in Sabah, I think, right? Not only to me, but probably other colleagues as well. Bila tidak karan, when there's no electricity, the internet connection comes with it as well. So yeah, it's so we have to go. We have to be positive with it, and then perhaps if I I face that during that time, so what I do is I will postpone the class and then we'll do a replacement class, or I will do a recorded version of the class so that they can access it um, anywhere and anytime they want. Okay, and then I make it available to at the smart tree. Now, this is, I think, the most challenging part. I think most of everyone agree with this. Let me know in the group chat siapa yang agree with all student engagement is the most critical problem during online learning, right? We have no choice but to go online learning, but the thing is student engagement, we can't really see them straight, okay? Even though we ask them to turn on their video, because some people are really creative, they can just froze their video and then people are just there, right? Some of students do that. So this is kind of really challenging. I still trying to find the best way to me on how to engage with students so that they are not bored or tidaklah baring-baring, okay? Just turn on the class and then go somewhere, right? So the way that I do most of the time, so like now I'm asking questions. So student or some students also like to ask a question, but I like to ask them more. So I will ask them to unmute mic, okay, to answer the question. And some will say my problem, they just answer in the chat box. That is good too, okay. Yeah, interaction, asking question and communicating during the session. The second thing is I find that this is really important to me. I always turn my camera on during the online session. As an educator, I have to be visible to them so that they feel like, okay, this is online class. I have to be there because the lecturer present. Okay, that's why I always turn on my camera on. Biarlah tidak handsome pun kan. Yang penting dia nampak muka kita, right? So at least pakailah something kan, or just use like lighting to enhance more kan. Like now use like lights up there, so, so just to make me visible to student. Okay, tidak lain gelap macam film Conjuring kan, bila mengajar gelap saja, right? So I try my best to be present. I have to always turn on my camera during the session. So it doesn't matter that if student want to turn the camera on or not. So to me, I need to be visible to them. Okay, so that they feel like they have two ways interaction in some way, right? And then pause whenever necessary. So I find that this is really important to me to engage with students. So 2 hour classes, straight 2 hours, who can stand that, right? So I also make my timeline 30 minutes or 35 minutes, okay? Or 40 minutes, and then after that, pause or break 5 minutes, okay? So that we can have a short time to breathe and then refocus and realign for the next continuous session. And then lab assessment and continuous assessment. So I think this is much more highly dependent on us as a course coordinator. Okay, need to be creative to achieve our CLOs, in example, at online lab. So there's a various way, I suppose, that we are implementing online platform to do our lab if there is a lab, and also continuous assessment that we can reach out to students, explain to them that how does things do, how to do this set of skill, just doing online. And of course there is a drawback to this because we really can't see, for example, the status of skill, right? To cut vegetables. So there is a various cut name. So they have to cut it. So we want to see them cut, but to cut the vegetables, right? But sometimes they also have the difficulty to record themselves to do the cutting. They just present the cut items. So in a way that how we assess them. Okay, so we need to be creative in order to achieve our CLOs. Now, I think Dr. Kenneth, sebelum saya meneruskan.
We have to we'll have to finish in because the next presenter will be waiting, I think.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I will just go finish and really quick. Okay, so this is the student perspective of online learning. So I actually encourage all of colleagues to do this. Just a very short questionnaire. So I conducted this questionnaire in week 12 to see what they thought about online learning. So really quick, we see the result here. So the question was, do you like the online class of the class being conducted online? So 18 students said yes, 20 students said maybe, they're not sure, and 5 students that really don't like it. So in the research, I think this is somehow like can be accepted, good, but to me, 5 students not like the class. I think I need really to do something to that in order for them to include all of them, inclusivity in online classes. Okay. Now, how do you feel about online classes? I circle the things, the items there. Boring. 12 people of my students. So please take note that this is based on my student only. 43 students participated in this survey. So they indicate that 12 people are bored. 27.9%, 28% of them said it is boring. So I need to do something to it. So please bear in mind that I don't ask specifically for my subject, just general about online classes. So you guys can see here that this is the indicator that they slightly demotivated. Right. To this one. So do you feel motivated to join online classes? 11 of them said they're not motivated to join the class. They just want to join the class because it is compulsory for them to attend for their attendance. So I think this is because they feel low during the class. Okay. And then this is the open-ended question that I asked the student about how do you want the online class to be. So I personally don't classify that into this information into groups. So I want everyone here to see what are they really, what do the student really want. So this is actually the answer that they given to me. I didn't check for the grammar spelling. I just copied from the results. So this is the item that they said here. So technically, they just want to be more fun. Okay, like here, for example, to be more attractive and more activities. I'm not sure. Is it the class to be attractive or I have to be attractive? I don't know. Right? So I have to buy new clothes every time it's online class, perhaps. I don't know. Okay, and then students should engage more online class, should short but informative. F2F class is more better than online class. Okay, and then final question: would you prefer face-to-face classes than online classes? Majority of them prefer face-to-face class. So this is the thing that we have to look into to our student and how we want to get, I want to get their perspective on how to improve. Okay, so outcome, key strategy for me to improve. Okay, so number one, create an interactive virtual session. I just realized that TikTok have some of the application in there that we can create short videos, okay, the funny videos, but very informative as well. Perhaps I will do that. Okay, so to those yang ada TikTok, instead of we just, you know, like have fun, release stress, right? Like shake stuff gitu di TikTok. Why don't we use this as an online platform, study learning platform as well? Okay, and then engaging activities, add more activities. Okay, perhaps I have some idea to do this. Maybe have early games, some sort of games to do during the online classes, and approachable. I want to make myself really approachable to students at any times of day when they need me, right? So cliche, but important as self-reminder to me and perhaps to everyone. Number one, okay, be positive and smile. Okay, so we just be positive towards this hard time because we are all struggling. I knew that we're all struggling, but hey, stay positive. And then always be educated. There's so much technology or apps or application that's available now. So make time for ourselves to be educated. The third one is improve. Okay, so now I got this set of result from what I have from the student perspective. So perhaps I will improve more in my teaching online for the next semesters. So with that, I think we have to be grateful in terms of all this hardship. There is always help that we can get through, either from our own organization, the MS, or our other friends from other organizations as well. So they really willing to help. With that, I end my session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sylvester.
Thank
We are
you.
back. Yeah, so we opened the floor for Q&A. There are some Q&A in the chat box, but there are so many. Can we
I
look
couldn't.
at we also have the session with the Padlet. We have access to the Padlet. So if you look through your chat box, you will see a Padlet link, and you can see Q&A, and you can take them in the Padlet. Is that okay, Doctor?
Okay, I'm opening the Padlet now.
Yeah, you can see it. I have it on my screen as well here, and there are no questions there. I think they will post as you go along, and they will post questions there. The participants can post there. But it's very interesting that
I think there is no question in the Padlet, but I couldn't keep up with all these comments here. But thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
Is there any question in the when using the free version online tools?
You can view
It's
the
from
chat.
you. It's from
Yes,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone. Maybe one or two. Please unmute your mic. Ya, mau dengar juga Baswara kan daripada chat-chat.
Please unmute and proceed.
Chat-chat tidak best. If no, then we can proceed to the other presenter.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Actually, you have raised some very interesting points. One of them is about the usage of the assessment, the online assessment for the Amali. That is actually one of the challenge faced by almost all of the lecturers, because we cannot actually assess that domain, the psychomotor. So how do we do that? So how do you do that? Do you wait for the lab to restart, or do you just do something?
For psychomotor, this is what I do. Depending on the level of the psychomotor, because they have like P1 to P6, right? So luckily to me, one of my subject is P2. So what I did was we did an online lab. For example, I showed students how to use certain type of tool online. So I turn on my video and then I use like this. Okay, for example, like let's imagine this is like a blender, right? Okay, so I show them how to use the blender and how to what kind of the function of it. Okay, so that's kind of really helpful. And also now we have a lot of video accessible, so we can also use that as aid, not as the main tool, as the aid for students to really understand the function of things.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you. I will have to, I'm sorry, I'll have to interrupt you because we have to move on to our next presenter. But thank you very much for your sharing. And thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much
much for
for all
having me.
the, yeah, thank you. We
Thank
appreciate it
you.
very much. Yeah, take care.
Okay.
Stay safe. Be online. I will just call in the next presenter. Okay, thank you.